Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2025 ski test. Today we're talking about the women's Elan Ripstick 94. A new ski for 2025. The Ripstick collection gets completely refreshed with really just some tweaks to construction. Overall, the performance carries forward with just some subtle improvements, I think is fair to say. They've always been very, very fun skis, very maneuverable, very versatile, pretty approachable and forgiving as well. They're light, they're not too stiff, but 100% high performance skis. And this 94 is sweet. I think you could argue that among the women's Ripstick widths, the 94 could be the most versatile, probably either the 94 or the 100, depending on where you live and how you like to ski. So for 2025, they did update the construction. Like I said, still a tube light wood core in these skis. We get those carbon rods that I'd say Elan is now famous for. But what they've done is they've tweaked the rest of the carbon application. So on previous Ripsticks, we got carbon line, which was essentially a sheet of carbon along the top of the core or just under the top sheet. For 2025, they've taken that carbon and they've moved it down and they've changed it too. It's now unidirectional carbon stringers that run below the core just on top of the base, so to speak. Pretty interesting. Just by moving that carbon below the core, you're feeling less vibration while still getting the performance benefits. So a lot of responsiveness, a lot of feedback, but not that kind of like harsh, pingy feel that can sometimes come along with carbon-powered skis. Now, taking a look at shape, 94 underfoot here, directional all-mountain ski. We get a little bit more tip rocker up here, a little bit less tail rocker. Tip rocker starts about right there. And say tail rocker starts about right there. All of the Elan Ripstick skis have a left and a right ski, so make sure it's on the right foot. You're basically getting more camber on your inside edge and more rocker on your outside edge without going into details. Just creates a very natural, intuitive feel when linking turns, and perhaps most impressively, it works really well both on firm snow as well as deeper, softer snow. So that's kind of it for shape. I think overall the shape is pretty straightforward. The really unique part is that right and left ski. Let's throw this thing on the weight, on the scale. This is a 168 centimeter Ripstick 94. It is 1,560 grams. So that's pretty darn lightweight for a ski this wide in this length. And it's on the softer side of the spectrum for flex pattern too. Although I think what's interesting about Ripstick skis is the way that the men's skis, or quote-unquote men's skis, and women's skis compare to competitors is a little different. The flex pattern is exactly the same across men's and women's from Elan, but compared to other men's skis, the Ripsticks feel quite soft, where on the women's side, compared to other quote-unquote women's skis, they're actually kind of more just in the middle of the road for flex pattern. This 94 actually has like a pretty supportive flex. In the shovel, they've kind of softened it up just a little bit for 2025, which I think just helps improve the turn initiation. So new skis, it's always really fun to have a new model to test. We had quite a few people on it over the past year, and just about everyone that skied the Ripstick 94 focused on its playfulness, its maneuverability, how easy it is to ski, how they could take it just on and off a groomer and feel perfectly at home, really, really agile in bumps and trees and stuff like that. And then some of our kind of bigger testers also commented that, hey, they're not the most stable ski in the world. If you're coming off something like, say, a Vocal Secret 96 or something heavier with more metal in it, you could find a limit for stability in the Ripstick 94, but what's important for skiers to understand is that's not going to happen very often, and it's also very weight dependent. So some of our lighter weight skiers, even if they're just really, really aggressive and ski super fast, they're not running into that limit for stability. And I think every once in a while with skis like this that are more known for playfulness and maneuverability, it can kind of like, that can get emphasized a little bit too much, and then people can have a little bit of a false perception of what these skis can actually do. Obviously, I'm a male, so not exactly the target market for the Ripstick 94W, although I will argue that the construction and performance is the same. But I would say I'm a pretty good example. I ski pretty fast, and every time I ski a Ripstick, I don't really find a limit to its stability. So that's it. That is the new Ripstick 94W for 2025 from Elan. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.